What's going on, everybody? It's Edible Incredible, and it's officially been 1 year of me doing YouTube. To celebrate, I'm doing a top 10 Legend of Zelda 3D bosses. We'll not be including any final bosses, only the bosses at the end of dungeons. Hope you guys enjoy it, and here's my top 10 Zelda bosses. What is the height of excitement in Zelda games? Is it exploration, puzzle solving, side quests? Or how about bosses? The bosses in Zelda games is what the story builds up to. Death Mountain's in danger? Alright, Dodongo, you going down, boy. A Zelda boss is just the whipped cream on top of a Zelda dungeon. First, let's begin with a few honorable mentions. Kalactos was at the 10th spot, however he or she, who knows what this thing is still very deserving of at least being mentioned in my honorable mentions. It's one of the best boss fights in Skyward Sword, ripping off its limbs, then beating it with its own weapon. So damn satisfying. Okay, warning, Breath of the Wild DLC spoilers, here we go. The Sheikah monk was so damn unexpected, and not just that, he had so many differing moves from multiplying himself to becoming massive. It's a fun fight to unlock Link's spiritual animal. A bike? Another honorable mention is the mechanical bull from Majora's Mask, Got, or is it pronounced goat? Regardless, this is the only boss that comes to mind that requires you to chase it like the entire fight. It's quite a fast-paced fight compared to the others, and a great send-off for the Goron section of Majora's Mask. And the final honorable mention is Star-Lord. Yo, this may sound crazy, but my first time fighting this monster, I literally thought it was Zant's true form. Jeez, was I so wrong. But gliding through the dead Hylian soldiers was not just epic, but also very creepy, putting an eerie vibe on what this dungeon could have been before Ganondorf's execution scene. Maybe it was the final stronghold in the Gerudo-Hylian War for the Gerudo. So now, let's finally begin our list with some more Twilight Princess. Number 10 is the dragon from the city in the sky. Argarok just loved messing with our progress as you traverse through the dungeon. However, it did create a sense of urgency to make you want to rush into the battle. The whole dungeon builds you up to the Argarok fight really smoothly. Who didn't like flying around like Spider-Man Link with the double hook shots? Using this item is such a rewarding feeling to bring down Argarok to the floor. From Breath of the Wild, number 9 is Molduga. I remember seeing this in the trailer and immediately thinking that it's the boss to the desert dungeon. But that's obviously Thunderblight, who I just might show later on in the video. But I already enjoy shield surfing, so hunting these huge sandworms with a sand seal is a nice way to explore the vast Gerudo Desert. Now onto the Wind Waker for number 8, Mogura, this game's version of the sandworm. Now this is that desert themed dungeon boss I was looking for in Breath of the Wild, and that's why I ranked it just above the last one. This version feels a little more daunting, with Mogura attempting to eat you literally in one bite. Its babies, which I'm assuming these guys are its kids, but they display a great reference in representing how big Mogura really is. Back to Twilight Princess for number 7, Gohma. The reason she made the list is mainly due to her awesome design and my personal experience with her. Previously to entering her boss room, my only experience with Gohma was back in Ocarina of Time. I'm not counting Wind Waker Gohma, as that really isn't a spider in my opinion. I was beyond excited to see what she looks like in Twilight Princess. I knew she was in the game, and when I saw smaller spiders in the Temple of Time, I instantly knew she must be the boss. I can't lie, man. Once the game showed her for the first time, I literally paused it, just to allow myself to digest the monster that I just witnessed. She was insanely enormous compared to her Ocarina of Time counterpart. Her crawling around above you just gives you that sense of dark uncertainty until you get zapped by a laser.
Frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
From Majora's Mask, number 6 is Twin Mode. There wasn't that many bosses in Majora's Mask, however the few that were in the game were very unique to the franchise. Everyone knows the Stone Tower Temple. If you love it or hate it, I feel that mostly depends on your first experience in this place. Mine was quite intense. After a few deaths to Twin Mode, I began feeling the pressure of the clock on the final day as it ticked down, and literally on the last few minutes, I finished off Twin Mode. Could not have been more rewarding. I'm pretty sure failing to complete the dungeon within the final day makes you begin the dungeon all over again. After spending hours in Stone Tower, I was nowhere near ready to restart. But it is all perspective, because if I did fail and had to start that dungeon all over, I probably would hate that boss. Number 5 from Twilight Princess is Zant. So my rule to begin the video was no final bosses allowed. I know Zant may feel like a final boss, however I feel he is not, although he does deserve to be. Zant is one of my favorite villains in the series. His cutscene with Princess Zelda and making her surrender, that qualifies as one of the darkest and most badass villain move in the series. Zant has this cool ability to be able to warp anywhere in Hyrule, and that is presented beautifully in his encounter with Link at the end of the game. One aspect that did hold him back though was his difficulty in the fight. The final phase in front of Hyrule Castle should have been a little more challenging in my opinion, but still a very fun fight. Number 4 is Thunder Blight. By far the best blight in the game, hands down Water Blight. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Why try to cause another great flood when it already happened in the Wind Waker? Water Blight, you're not even close to being original. Thunder Blight's ability on the other hand is lightning, not ice cubes. Sorry Water Blight, had to hit you back with that for killing my friend Mifa.
I was always willing to heal your wounds.
Back on topic, I believe Thunder Blight was the toughest blight in the game, especially on Master Mode with only 3 hearts. If you guys love some tough boss battles, you guys got to try that. Very challenging yet super rewarding. Number 3 is Bylethite from Skyward Sword. Maybe I just love fighting bosses in the sky, but Bylethite doesn't disappoint. Riding a huge flying whale above the clouds? Epic. It reminds me of the famous Dead Man's Volley against Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time. However, you have to be precise in the direction you swing the Master Sword to damage the correct spot on Bylethite, which I feel gives Skyward Sword more immersion with this battle. Even the phase before Bylethite, while flying around Leva, was very spacey and it kind of reminded me of taking down a Colossi in Shadow of Colossus. By the way, as I'm sure you know, the HD remake just dropped and it is absolutely gorgeous. Please Nintendo, do something similar with Skyward Sword and create an HD version this year that it so righteously deserves. Speaking of the Dead Man's Volley, number 2 is Phantom Ganon. I'm including the version from Ocarina of Time and the Wind Waker since they are very similar encounters. And maybe they're even the same Phantom. Who knows, maybe Ganon brought him back after the flood instead of creating a new one. Either way, this introduced the tennis match I know and love to the 3D Zeldas. Once I defeated his incarnation the first time in the Wind Waker, I was hoping for him to return. Little did I know, he didn't just return, but it forces you to face him over and over until you unlock the light arrows. I don't know how you guys feel about this part in the Wind Waker, but I always enjoyed it. It just gets me super hyped for the confrontation with Ganondorf. And finally, number 1 is Bongo Bongo from the Shadow Temple. I feel he is one of the most challenging bosses in all of the 3D Zelda games. One mistake and he'll grab you instantly. It reminds me of the Twin Hands from Smash Bros. But Bongo Bongo has much more of a darker backstory. People have speculated he wasn't just a member of the Sheikah, but their leader during the Hylian Civil War, which was before the events of Ocarina of Time. The Shadow Temple clearly was a torture prison, most likely during this war. Ironically enough, it's located in the graveyard of the Sheikah's old hometown, Kakariko Village. One may ask why Bongo Bongo's hands are separate from his body. This will probably sound very brutal, however I believe his hands may have been cut off during the war. Not to mention, he plays the temple theme as you traverse through it. Then you find out he's hitting one massive drum. Maybe it's because I'm a drummer, but come on, that's super cool. Alright my people, I hope you enjoyed, and man, there are way too many epic boss battles that didn't even make my list. The Zelda series as a whole is chocked full of them. Let me know your favorite Zelda boss down below, bro. By the way, something huge for me may be in the works with another much bigger YouTuber. Once I can disclose this information to you guys, I definitely will. As always, it's been edible incredible, and hope you all stay hype, my homies. Peace.